Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Juan the Yarn Addict and I'd like to welcome you to my variety show. So my variety show is where I take bits and bobs of different things and I cram it into one video. So if this is of interest to you, please sit back and enjoy the show. Before we get started, please remember to hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and then of course, share the video. I would definitely appreciate the support. So as I mentioned, it's bits and bobs of different things. And so for today's video, I think what we're gonna do is work on some whips. I have a show and tell. I have some frogging to do. Yes, we're going to have a frogging party. And then I have some patterns I printed out and I want to talk about them. So I think what we're going to do is start with the patterns. So we're going to start with some knitting patterns, just two right off the top of my head here. So I am itching to put something on the needles and I want to do a shawl. And I have two here that I'm trying to decide as to whether or not I want to do one or the other. So the first one here is from Stephen West. It's called the Boneyard Shawl. It's one of his first ones. And it looks very simple, but looking like simple and actually working it up as if it were that simple may be two different things. So it says this simple triangular shawl begins at the top center and increases toward the border. You can knit this shawl with any yarn weight and continue the shape to make it as large as you wish. That's kind of what I do with my crochet shawls. So that's cool. And it goes on to say how much yarn and so on and so forth. He also mentions this was the shawl that started it all. Once you knit the Boneyard Shawl, you can experiment with stripes and textures as you venture into the woolly world of West Knit's shawl knitting. So I'm very excited about that. And the other one here is from, let's see, Isabel Kramer, and it's called Paris Toujours. So that's what the shawl looks like. Very, very nice. I'm not sure if that's black or charcoal, but the yarn is very dark, so you can't really see the stitches through the camera as well as the printout, but it looks nice. The pattern was designed in 2015, and here's some images as well. I'm just going to fold back some of the pattern details, but here are the pictures. I really like the way this looks, and I'm liking the texture. And according to Ravelry, this one here is also an easy pattern. I read the legend, I read all the things, and it doesn't look complicated. So these are the two that I'm considering. I'm not sure. I reached out to some friends and they've also given me some advice as to where to go to look for different patterns. But as it stands right now, I may put one or the other on the needles. So sound off in the comments, Paris or Boneyard. Tell me what you think. I'm actually leaning towards this one here just because it looks a lot simpler, but style-wise, I like this. I'm just saying. So I'm not sure. Tell me the things in the comments. Oh, okay, and so for the first week of June, I'm actually going to be rolling out a pattern on my Ravelry. Here it is. Let me just fold some of this back. So this is called Crossing Currents. It's a great design here. You can work this up into a blanket, a rectangular wrap. You can use any weight of yarn you'd like. I mean, I really had a great time crocheting this, and I cannot wait to do the tutorial for you guys. So stay tuned for this. This will be available on Ravelry during the first week of June, I believe. So stay tuned for that. And I think that's all I have right now for patterns, unless I come across one on my desk that I want to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that. Now, I want to get into the frogging party. I want to show you guys what I need to frog. So let me move this out of the way. So I spoke about this. This was my twins crossing. I started it. It was supposed to be like the leftovers from the 2-bit granny, and I don't like this. It's okay to not like something, right? So I like the pattern, but when I designed this, this was meant to work with two different colors and you carry the color. And the colors were supposed to hug each other. And Doing it in solids, I mean, it's not bad. Maybe it's the color choice. Maybe it's because I just put leftover yarns on this. I'm not sure, but I'm not really feeling this at all. So we're going to frog this. I'm going to sit that there. The next thing I need to frog is this. So I did speak about this. This was the original inspiration for the centerpiece design for the Wildflower Oasis. Now, I made this months ago, and you can see how there's popcorns in the square here. And although there is no circle here, that came from another idea. So I meshed ideas together. I do like this centerpiece. I may do something like this in the future. Stay tuned. I actually am just going to frog the variegated colorway because I don't have any more of this. This is vintage discontinued variegated yarn. I love this. I'm going to recake this, not today though, but I need to conserve my vintage discontinued variegated yarn. These yarns are hard to come by. They don't make them anymore. So before I forget, I'm just going to hurry up and frog these 2 rounds. And then maybe with a coffee and cake with Juan, I will pull this out and we will recake the yarn. So it looks nice and pretty, not like this. Like a home economics project going wrong. Anyway, but this is part of design minds. Like you just put things on the hook and then you sit it to the side as like a little note, a little reminder to yourself, like, hey, Juan, you know, you came up with this idea, maybe incorporate this idea into another project, you know? So that's kind of where that came from. But this centerpiece, I am not frogging just yet because I really like what I came up with here. Yes, I like that a lot. If I can figure out a way to repeat that pattern, we're going to do the things. It may not necessarily be a square, but may be part of a future project. Stay tuned. You saw it here first. Okay, so one little piece of a frogging party started. I'm going to set it right there. And again, look at that. There's just something there. I do like that design. Maybe I don't like how it's laying properly. I may just take another look at the stitch counts, and I know it makes sense mathematically, but maybe it's the yarn I'm using. I'm not sure. So I do like the way the beginning of that looks, but beyond that, like this outer ring here, I did twins in a stitch. Maybe that's the reason why. I'm not sure. But I go through this every time I design something. I went through this during Wildflower Oasis. I sat here with my centerpiece and I'm playing with it and I'm looking at it, and that's kind of how it all starts. So anyway, I'm going to hold on to this. We cannot forget about this. I'll set that there. Perfect. All right. What else do I have to frog? So I have these. So this was gifted to me by Jeannie Simmons last season during Boggy Creek season. She sent huge amounts of blankets. I think she must have sent me like 50 blankets, but in sections, in like pieces. And in one of the boxes, she sent me 2 bags of squares. I always spoke about how I loved her construction and the way that she did her loose granny squares. There was just something very relaxing about the way she did them. And so she sent me a bag of squares. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm loving the yarn. I mean, obviously it's a given. I love the way she did, you know, her grannies and all. She actually worked this all up on one side. She doesn't flip like I do. Anyway, I want to reuse the yarn into another project, which I've already started and it's in the other room. I will showcase that in another Whipping It with Juan session. But for now, I'm just going to show you the yarn and where I'm at with it. So I've already been frogging these squares. All the squares had a green outer section here. So here are the yarns, or the squares, the different colors. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing the modern granny, but a modified modern granny. And I'm using this dark green color for that stitch. And then the granny stitch, I'm using this discontinued vintage variegated yarn, and I'm alternating the colors. Anyway, I have an entire bag of these squares in various stages because as I work that project, I'm pulling what I need. However, I just want to frog all of this, cake all the like yarns together so it's easier for me to work up. I feel like I should have been done that project by now because it works up very quickly. It's easy, but because I have to frog every piece of it back to get what I need for that project, it's taking me twice as long. So I may work on some of this as well. Let's see. I also have this monstrosity. I don't even know what I was thinking when I created this, but actually it's not bad. It's the yarn choice. I should have chosen something along the lines of this. I'm going on a field trip. Give me 1 second. I do have the microphone on my necklace, so if you hear a little bit of banging, it's the compass, I think it's called, hitting against the microphone. Or maybe you don't hear it at all, I'm not sure. Anyway, this with this. So this is 100% cotton. This is Peaches and Cream, and the colorway name here is called Happy Go Lucky. So I think this would look 100 times better if it was worked up in a lighter yarn. I don't know, but I'm not going to wait to find out. I'm frogging it. We're frogging it. And I think I'm going to start here, but actually no. For the Whipping It with Juan section of our whole video today. So it's the end of May. Did I hit my goal with my moss stitch in the round? No, I did not. I failed miserably. I still have the entire skein. I did not even start it this month. So earlier in the month, I mentioned that I have a long-term whip that I need to get on the hook, and I just did not have the time to do it because I rolled out the cow. And yeah, the 2025 Spring Crochet Along, the Wildflower Oasis throw went well, and it's still going very well. Many people are doing it, and that's where my focus has been. So this just sat to the side, but I'm going to put it on the hook today because I really want to get this blanket done. So I'll show you all of that in a minute. But this is the very last skein that I have in the house. This is Red Heart Super Saver Color Block in the colorway Party Time. It's a medium 4-weight yarn, and they suggest a 5.5mm crochet hook. It's 100% acrylic. It's machine washable and dryable. And I'm working it up with a 6.5mm Furls Odyssey hook. So I tried using other 6.5mm hooks, but the stitches just came out very different. So I tried Edamo. It just did not work. It didn't look right. So I went ahead and frogged it back and reworked it with the appropriate hook. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Anyway, there's that. And then, of course, I have my 2-bit grannies. So we're making progress on these, very slow but sure. And that's because I have 2 of them going. And as I'm working my leftover yarns, I'm coming across cakes and skeins that are turning into flats. And so instead of recaking the flat, I'm taking this and I'm jumping it right into another 2-bit. Now, I've already worked this color up. Actually, yeah, this is the color from here. And then I don't think I worked this up yet. So this is not even on here yet, but I don't think this is enough yarn because we're way out here at this point. And it's going to take quite a bit of yarn to do 2 rounds for this particular 2-bit granny. And I'm working these up with a 6mm US letter J hook. I'm actually liking how this is looking. This is really nice. I do like it. And it's all leftover yarns, all scraps from various projects. This is so good. It's a great way to stash bust. So I thought about taking my leftovers and putting it into my twins crossing, but I'm really not liking the leftovers going into a pattern looking like that. So this is a no-go. Maybe I need to choose another pattern, another design, or maybe create another one. Actually, It's not going to be enough. I was thinking about my on the fly. So luck of the draw on the fly. The free pattern is on Ravelry if you're interested. But I don't think this is enough yarn for that even. So that's a no-go as well. Oh well. So anyway, there is that. Let's go ahead and start frogging. I'm trying to make sure not to make too much noise here with this. If I hit it the wrong way, it's going to make noise. Oh, and I forgot, I have my coffee. We have coffee today. You guys already know what's in here. Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut coffee, caramel macchiato creamer. Oh wait, I forgot. I had a show and tell. So a company sent me mail, FedEx, and the name of the company is Dress It Up. Let me open it up and read the letter to you. So here's the logo, Dress It Up. And it says, "Hello, Juan. One of our team members recently introduced us to your YouTube channel. She found it through her husband, Jim, aka the pink-haired giant." So there's this guy at the job. He has bright pink hair. His name is Jim. He's totally cool. Anyway, they all know that I'm doing this, so this is all good. Anyway, we have been loving your content and just had to reach out. We wanted to send you a little surprise, some of our products for you to play with. One of our in-house team members who also crochets handpicked a selection of buttons she thought you'd really enjoy. If you end up using any of our goodies in a video or social post, we'd love it if you tagged us so we can share your awesome creations with our followers too. If you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, that would be amazing. And it's called @DressItUpButtonShop. So yes, can't wait to see what you make. Happy crafting, the Dress It Up team, Kelly. So thank you so much, Kelly, for reaching out to me. And now I have a bunch of goodies to show you guys. And if I do incorporate anything that I show you guys today into a project, I'll be sure to reach out to them and, of course, post it on all the things. So let's take a look at the things. All right, so I'm going to get nice and close. And they're buttons, by the way. This one here is dog paws. How cool is that? Dog paws. And it comes in an 8-pack. And let's see the information here. And this company here is based in Pennsylvania, so they're local. And I love this. This is great. We love local businesses, local small businesses. This is amazing. So assembled in USA, and the storefront or the store, the company actually is in Pennsylvania. So that's awesome. I'm reading it off the back. So we have dog paws. Next, we have So Cute Ladybugs. I just noticed that the name of what's inside the bag is actually right here. So it says So Cute Ladybugs. So cool. At first, I thought they were like red Pac-Man heads. But no, they're ladybugs. Very, very cool. So it looks like, for the most part, we're getting, let's see here. Ooh, look at this. Magical unicorns. Oh my. Magical unicorns. That's so cool. Love that. I'm trying to think of how I'd be able to incorporate these. Maybe if I did a make, actually, what if I made a mandala and included all of these as like, well, some of these as charms in the mandala? I think that's amazing. I'm getting ideas. Next, we have So Fun Halloween. So we have Halloween buttons. So we have a little kitty cat, a pumpkin, a ghost. Oh, that's so cool. Is that a candy corn? Yes, it is. Look at that. Crinkle alert. Sorry if it's picking it up, but candy corn. So cool. Next, we have fresh strawberries. I love that. Very, very nice. I wonder if they have flowers. The Wildflower Oasis throw. I don't know. I'm getting ideas. Fresh strawberries. Very, very nice. I'll give you a close-up of that. I wonder if the flowers on every strawberry or oh no, they're separate. So these little flowers are separate buttons. They're not part of the strawberries. So that's cool. Next we have Move It. We have little moo cows. Look at that. So they're sitting facing us. It took me a second to actually see that. That's so nice. And then I guess they're all different positions. That's nice. So moo cows. Next we have Step into Spring. Oh, this is nice. Little 5-petal flowers, various colors. I like that. So, so nice. All right, just a few more here. We have Tiny Dinos. Oh yeah, they are tiny. Little dinosaurs, like Stegosaurus. It looks like a Stegosaurus right there in yellow. Are they all different dinosaurs? They are. They're all different dinosaurs. That's awesome. Another idea I have is, what if I did like a beanie and incorporated like the colors of the buttons into the colors of yarn and just kind of did color play? I think that would be awesome. I don't know. Stay tuned. Next, we have Jack Smile. Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's turn it this way so you can see it correctly. Nice. Next, we have Iced Cookies. Christmas Time. Gingerbread Men. That's awesome sauce. Love that. Next, we have Be Happy. So we have some bees. I love how the wings are clear. That's so awesome. Okay. And Hunk Beep Room. We have cars. So they sent tons and tons of buttons. I mean, they're small, but by all accounts, this is a lot. So thank you guys so much for sending these to me. When I work these up into projects, it's not a matter of if, it's when I do. I'll be sure to tag you guys, Kelly and everybody at Dress It Up. Thank you so much for your wonderful letter, and thank you so much for the buttons. Very, very nice. Okay, so that was my little show and tell. We did the patterns. We did the show and tell, and now let's do the frogging because, yes, I need the space. I need the yarn. There's this project that I'm really itching to do. I wanted to do like a vintage granny square blanket with all the different colors, every round a different color, but then edge it in black, kind of like the Roseanne blanket from the show back in the 80s and 90s. I want to do something like that for me, for the house, because I have all these wonderful colors of yarn and they're all different size balls and skeins, and I just don't like the idea of them sitting in baskets and bags. I kind of want to use all of it. So I think that's a great way to stash bust and come out with a really awesome make. Now, I may not do black for the border. I may do like a charcoal gray, just because black is really difficult to crochet with. I mean, I can do it. I have a neck light. It's not a problem. It's just that I think, my personal opinion, it would look better in a charcoal gray. I have it down there, but I also have black. I don't know. Sound off in the comments. Should I do it in black or should I do it in like a charcoal gray? I feel like doing it in black is expected, but it's still going to look good. It may not look exactly like the one Roseanne had on her show, but I don't know. I think it's a great way to stash bust, if I say so myself. So yeah, especially now that I'm looking back at all the work that I've done over the last year and a half and all the leftover yarns that have accumulated. Yeah, I'd feel really good if I found a way to actually work through it all. And I think that's a great example of how to stash bust and not feel guilty about all the leftovers. When I plan for projects, I kind of overcompensate. So if the pattern calls for 2,000 yards, I grab 3,000 just because I don't like the idea of yarn chicken. I think you should always have more than enough, just because. No one likes you know, having to play yarn chicken with a project. You want to have enough to finish your work. So yeah. Anyway, this here, I think, what is this? Twins in a Stitch, the Iris, the V. It had a bunch of stitches in this. I don't know why I thought to make this. I don't. Sometimes I do that. I could be on the phone or on a conference call for the day job or in a meeting somewhere, and I'll just grab yarn and start crocheting things. And for no reason other than just to keep my hands busy. It keeps me from being bored too. Yes, I don't like being bored. So yeah, I'll throw things on the hook, not realizing why I'm doing it. And then I'll come back to it a week later and think to myself, why did you do that? Did you have to do that? No, but you did. And now you have to make sense of it. This sat over there on my desk, over there in the corner, I want to say for about 3 months. 3 months. Hold on. I don't want the mic to move. There we go. Yeah. And I think I kept it over there that long because I just wanted to make absolutely sure that if I were to frog it, that I wouldn't feel guilty about it. Maybe I could think of a reason to keep it, but no, it's okay. I do this with beanies too, just because, like, I'm in a meeting and I don't want to crochet anything too big, so I'll crochet a beanie, and at the end, I'm like, I don't even like this. So I'll frog it, or I'll just put it in my donation bag. So in the dining room, I have one of those big poly bags. I think it's like 2.5 feet by like 3 feet. It's pretty big. And I have some beanies from 2023 and I have a little from 2024, but when I make beanies and it looks good, but not for the channel, for donation, I'll put it in that bag and it's almost filled. I think what I should do is a video showing you guys all the beanies that I've made behind the scenes. Yeah. For a while there, I was making beanies for the homeless back in 22 and 23. And my work schedule has gotten so busy that my outreach abilities have been slim to none. Before, I used to have a bunch of time to go out there and pass out gloves and hats and those little warmer pouches. I used to be able to do that, but I'm too busy. So when I make them, I just put them in a bag, thinking to myself, maybe I can just mail them out to an organization or a company that'll distribute them for me. And so I still plan on doing that, but not until the bag is filled. So, all right, we have those two done. And now I need to do this because this is just a hot mess. I thought about pulling the ball winder out, but one, this is more quiet. I can actually talk and think and all the things. Not saying I can't with the coffee and cake with Juan. It's just that this is nice too, you know? And this is the old-fashioned way. And I like that, you know, bringing it old school. So anyway, this here is Big Twist. And you know, I'm so happy that Big Twist improved, even though, you know, what happened to Joanne happened. I'm just glad that we had an experience with Joann's where they improved their yarn to a point where we're all raving about it. And that vortex, let me tell you, let me find out Hirschner's or Mary Maxim will begin covering or selling Vortex. I'm on that. I'm super excited. I just love that yarn so much. I have some Vortex in stash and I plan on making things with it, but there were some other colorways that they had that I have not had a chance to play with. There was, I don't know the name of it, but it's Vortex and it was red. It was shades of red. I'll have to go online and look to see if I can find an image of it, but I really wanted that. And I remember when Vortex was on the shelves, my Joanne, the manager there, told me that they would not be getting that colorway in, that only select locations would be getting it. And so, yeah, the locations here in Delaware and southeastern Pennsylvania were not getting that particular colorway. But I had the opportunity to see other people create makes with it. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I need to try that. But so if I find Vortex in Mary Maxim in that colorway, I'm definitely getting it, or even at Hirschner's. So yeah, very excited about that. So as I am frogging things, I did some projects, some frogging before I started the video today, and I have a bunch of yarn in various sizes and shapes. I mean, it's literally all over the desk. I have orange here. I have peach. Just all sorts of things. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how can I incorporate all of this into a project? That's why I keep going to like that vintage, I don't even know if it's vintage, just granny squares, like granny motifs, but I want to edge it all in the same color for sure. Because I have these little balls of yarn, and I think like if I incorporate like this yarn in the center or round 2, it'll be enough. I don't know. We'll see. I would imagine I'm going to need quite a bit of yarn for this project, but I have it. I do have a lot of leftovers. Look, I have a bag of balls right here, and I have several bags like this in the other room and in the yarn room. So I'm super excited to be able to work through all of that, as I said before. So yeah. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast that I'm itching to get things on the needles. I feel like with knitting, with crochet, if you're not consistent with it, you may lose some of the technique. And so I don't want to lose what I'm learning with knitting. And that's why I'm really itching to get something on the needles, because I want to remember the cadence of the rhythm of knitting and purling and doing my knit two togethers and all the things. So now when it comes to crochet, like not only do I do it every day, I crochet multiple times a day. So it's the first thing I do after I wake up. Like I'll sit there for 15, 20 minutes. As I wake up, I'm crocheting. And then I make coffee. I'll go back to either the squirrel's nest or the yarn room, and I'll sit there and I'll crochet for another 20 minutes before I leave for work. And then as soon as I come home, I put the coffee on and then I start crocheting. So I'm always crocheting. And then when I'm off from work, I'm crocheting. Like, it's not too often that you won't find me without a hook. So, yes, I love. And you know what? I thought that about this to myself. I'm like, why are my wrists not hurting? Why am I not sore? And then it dawned on me. I've been using sign language since before I could form complete sentences. And so because my hands are so used to the constant movement for all these years, I think that all of these hours of crochet has not affected my arms or my hands. Now, my elbows get really sore and like the back of my arms get really sore, but not my wrists or my hands. So that's a great benefit to myself. But there have been times where my elbows were so sore that I've had to have ice packs and bandages. And there was one time where I crocheted for 20 hours. I've had little breaks in between, but like a span of 20 hours with breaks. That was a very long time. And yeah, I don't I don't miss that, but it was a cram session. I had so much that I needed to get done in such a short period of time. And yeah, I can't remember. It was one of the cows. Was it last year's spring cow? I forget, but yeah, it may have been the spring cow. So I had to recrochet some of the weeks multiple times. I remember week 1, I had to recrochet from beginning to end 3 times before rolling it out. It was just such a rocky start, and I'll never forget the frustration behind that. But you know what? I'm very, very happy that I did that, because it showed to myself that I'm dedicated to the craft and I wanted to make sure that my work was right and not perfect, but the best that I could make it for me at the time. So very happy about that. And every now and again, I do find myself having to redo my work. And I used to be the one where, oh yeah, I'll just add a stitch here, I'll take a stitch away there. But in order for me to really elevate my crochet, I needed to focus on precision and just making sure that like I set an example for what I'm creating, because, you know, as a designer, you want to make sure that your designs make sense, that they fit right, that, you know, it's credible. And so in order for me to maintain that or elevate myself to that, I have to hold myself to a standard where subpar is not going to work. Like, you can be creative, that's something else. But when I'm creating a pattern and I make a mistake, when I'm designing my own pattern, I need to make sure that's right. I need to frog that back and fix it. I can't, you know, just make adjustments as I go and be like, that's okay, I'll just add it there and do all the things. No, I can't do that. My own sanity won't let me do that. So that's okay. I find myself frogging and redoing, but I'm glad that I do that though, because, you know, I'm learning how to take those lessons and apply them to other areas of crochet, especially when it comes to more complicated stitch sequences. You really have to take the time to really pay attention to the stitch anatomy and where those hooks are supposed to land and connect with other stitches, and where that yarn is supposed to tie into other areas of stitches. It really makes sense to just make sure you're precise. And yeah, for me, that's how I feel like I was able to elevate my crochet for myself. You know, I'm just holding myself to my own little standard. You know, so anyway, let's see. I have a little bit of this blue left, and then we can jump right into this red. And I have to think to myself, am I going to be able to get any of the crochet done? Because we are approaching 40 minutes. Can you believe it? Time flies when you have fun. Well, it's fun for me. Oh. So I don't really get the chance to do variety shows that often, but when I do, I just sit here and I just let the video play and I just do the things. So yeah, I really like this. I have this whip that's just staring at me. It's Big Twist Supernova, and I really do need to finish it. This is my backgammon pattern. It's a very basic, simple double crochet triangular scarf. But yeah, the way that I designed this, it's to take the triangle and not make it so triangular, but it's like an oblong triangle. So it's more wide than it is long. And yes, I know quite a few people that have made this, and I need to get this off the hook eventually. It's been on the hook for about 5 months now. I had it in timeout. I pulled it out of timeout just to have something to crochet for like one of my meetings that I had recently. I put it on the hook and then I said to myself, okay, now I know why you set it in timeout. The yarn thickness changes. It's just part of the charm of the yarn. I wasn't ready for it. It says that it's a 2-weight yarn, but it actually goes up to DK weight and then it goes back down to a very thin sport weight. In some areas, it can actually pass for fingering. And yeah, I really didn't care for that too much. And the hook that I used, if I'm not mistaken, was a 6mm hook, dot hook. So here it is. This is what I have so far. Isn't that nice? Very, very nice. And the colorway name here is called Nebula. I love this yarn. I love Big Twist yarn. It's just so, so good. The stitch height is not giving me 6mm though. I think it was a 5. I'm not sure. I'm about to find out. Let me see. Let me just do a few stitches and compare them to the ones that are already there. Let me see. Just by the looks of it, I think that the 6mm is too big. Let me see. Yeah, for sure. It's way too big. Okay. Something is telling me that I used a 5. Crinkle alert. Let me see. So this is a 4. That's a 4 dots. This is a 2.5. What's this? This is a 4.5. Do I not have a 5 in this bag? I do not. That means it's in the cup. Let me see. I'll put that in there. This one here is a 3.5. I may not have it in this room. I may have taken it out of the room for some unknown reason. I do things like that, and I have no idea. Let me see. This is a 5. Let me try the 5. This is an Edemo hook, and I don't like to switch hooks on projects. I mentioned that earlier, but this might be able to tell me like if I'm close. I don't remember. I may have to find the old Whipping It with Juan where I put this on the hook. And I don't like this hook for the yarn. It's very, very choppy. Yeah, I don't like this hook even. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's a 5, but not this hook. Yeah. All right. So anyway, let me put that back. We're putting that back. Okay. So I do have this, but I need my prim. There it is. Perfect. All right. So what color are we going to put on this very quickly? We'll do this and then we'll wrap up. Okay. So I have a feeling that we need some lighter colors out here. So let's see. I have a great color. How about Diva Pink? I do like this because it's more on the red side of things. So I have this leftover skein from under the desk. It's a forest down here under the desk. I thought about taking the camera and bringing you guys down and just having a field day under the desk. But no, not today. I may have to straighten up, do some housekeeping before we go under there. We may not come back out. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so let me get this on the hook. We'll do one round and then we'll call it, I think. I do want to include this in our little video today because it's all the things. All right, so let me cut. Did I already cut it off? Yes, I did. Okay, perfect. So let's do that. Now, one of the reasons why I like doing my grannies is because I can get through the stitches very quickly. It's easy for me to get this yarn off the hook and clean up the stash. So this is my go-to when it comes to that. So I really enjoy this. All right, so let's get started. I crochet over my tails and then I go to town. Yes. Anyway, as I was mentioning, this is a neon colorway. It's called Diva Pink, but it's got like a red hue to it. It's not as pink as I would have assumed it to be, considering the name Diva Pink, but I think it goes really nice next to this violet colorway. So it pairs well. And then again, I won't be able to use this colorway again on this blanket because part of the 2-bit granny is you don't repeat the colors. After the 2 rounds, that's it. Find another color to put on your project and you keep it moving. So that's the exciting part about this project for me. And so, yeah, I like coming up with project ideas like that. Like the one that I did for Tuesdays. So I just started the weekly challenge for Tuesday. I still haven't found a name for it. I like to call things names. I like to compartmentalize. And so I don't have a name for the Tuesday thing yet, but every week it's going to be a challenge. We're going to create something that should only take us a week to make. Nothing too big, something that we can do in between our other projects. And I'm doing it for me because I have lots of long-term projects and it's boring doing the same thing over and over again. But to have a little make thrown in there, it kind of helps the other projects move along, you know? It gives me a break from all the monotony of it all. So yeah. Now this past Tuesday, I spun the wheel and we landed on a bulky 5-weight yarn for the actual size, right? The project ideas, we came up with 3 of them, and I may do 1, I may do all of them, or maybe 2, I'm not sure. But I'm definitely going to do at least 1. And the 3 choices were pick a vintage pattern. Of course, you have to use bulky weight yarn for it, but pick a vintage pattern, and then create a mandala, like a wall hanging. And then the other one was a whip bag. So like a chunky whip bag. So yeah, and then the color theme is monochromatic. So you can pick a color and use that same color, or you can pick all the different colors that fall within the category of, like, for example, blue. So if I chose blue, I can go with 1 color blue for the entire thing, or I can choose 7 or 8 or 9 or 12 or however many colors of blue and incorporate that into the make, just so long as it falls in the blue family. So yeah, and I'm very excited about it because yes, I did start some things. I'm not committed to all of everything that I have on the hook just yet, but just having that is so much fun. I'm really enjoying the process. So if you're interested, every Tuesday, either a video or a live, I'm not sure. I'm not going to commit myself to one or the other. Just when Tuesday rolls along, if time permits, because of the day job, I will create the video, and then if I don't have time because of the day job, I will just go live and we'll do the things in real time. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Anywho, I think what I'm going to do is just go to the corner and then I will call it. It looks like they tied off here. That's totally not me, that's them. I don't trust it, so I'm just going to snip that off and knot it right here for myself, just to make sure it's good. I was always told when that happens, take the knot out and rejoin it, because you don't know how secure that knot actually is. But for this, your standard knot will work just fine. Okay, so let me just get through this corner here and then we will wrap up. So please tell me if you guys enjoy these variety shows. Sound off in the comments. I'm definitely curious to know what you guys think, because I like these videos where I don't have anything planned. I just come on, I turn the camera on, and then I just see the things and I tell you guys bits and bobs of different things and we just talk about it. I do like doing that. Sometimes unplanned is good. So yeah, you never know what to expect with a variety show. All right, I'm going to make a bunny ear there, and this is what it looks like so far. I'm liking that very, very much. Of course, I have to do an entire round in the Diva Pink and then go around a second time. But anyway, you guys will see an update in a later video. So that is all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And then, of course, share the video. I would definitely appreciate the support. So that is all from me for now. And until the next one, take care. Bye.